We're gonna wait about one more minute. We got one commissioner, I think, that's in the room, but, we'll give 1 minute and then we'll start with Adam, so. As we prepare to get started, I would mention a few families here. If anybody's got another, family, we've had a run of probably the last week to 2 weeks of some pretty, difficult times as far as some of the members in our community. We had a member that, a family member of the Childs family, Mendoza, Dove family, Bridges. Yesterday, of course, last few days we have noticed the flags are half staff because half masked for Navy folks. For the 11 that were killed in Pittsburgh at the Tree of Life Synagogue, and then one of our own, I'd ask here in a minute, we're going to offer a word of prayer for, like to keep Marshall Vaughn, his father, Chief Deputy Jeff Vaughn, but he needs your prayers tonight too. So I'll tell you what, Commissioner Strickland will roll in when he gets here. We'll go ahead and call the meeting to order. If you've got a telephone, if you'd be so kind as just to check that it's on silent or vibrate, please. And what we'll do is we'll have a pledge to our flag, and I invite you to stand with me in a moment of prayer and we'll get started, okay? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic which stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Father, we come to you again this evening, Lord, thanking you for a gorgeous day. Lord, we thank you for the continued blessings that you shower upon us. As we approach approaching election day, Lord, what a great country to be a citizen, a great county, great state. We recognize, Lord, that there are those that are not as fortunate as we are, and those within our community that are suffering. We trust, Lord, that you'll keep them safe and that you'll keep them in the palm of your hand, providing everything that they might need. And Lord, as we carry out our business tonight, if we do anything that might please you, we hope, Lord, that we'll exalt you and we'll glorify you, that and give you praise for it. Watch over us as we leave. Lord, we ask these things in your name. Amen. Amen. All right. First order of business is the approval of the minutes from the October 1st meeting. Yes, Lord? Okay.
He's answering.
Okay. We have the minutes from that October 1st meeting. If when you're ready, we'll take a motion to approve those minutes, please.
Motion to approve, Chairman.
I have a motion to approve.
Second.
And a second. Any comments, questions on those minutes?
Yes, sir.
All right, Commissioner Allen.
Yes.
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 Abstain.
All right. Sometimes we get right over this next item, but tonight we do have a group that we want to recognize. And in just a moment, I'm going to read a proclamation. And before I do that, though, we have the Pilot Club. I have some members from the Pilot Club here with us tonight. And before I read that and have the board vote on it, I'd ask if either Mrs. Zinsky or any of your folks, if you'd like to say anything, or if you just want us to read it, what's your pleasure to tonight?
Let me just say a little bit, and then
Please.
we'd also like to have some pictures after you sign, if it's okay with you.
Well, if it's okay with you.
Sure, that's fine.
Please.
Thank you, Chairman, Commissioners. Yeah, on behalf of the Pilot International and the Pilot Club of Madison County, we're requesting your support in proclaiming the second week of November as the week of International Care and Kindness. And Pilot's mission is to influence positive change throughout the world. And to do this, we come together in friendship and service. And part of this is caring for families in times of need. And that's why the International Week of Care and Kindness is dedicated to celebrating family caregivers at Pilot events, as well as encouraging families and friends to have quality time together, recognizing teachers and mentors and for their kindness and care to our children, and all other creative ways of expressing care and appreciation toward others. We, the Pilot Club of Madison County, as well as the Anchor Club in the high school, are looking towards the week of November 4th to the 10th as performing random acts of kindness ourselves and taking count of that. And so we're asking you all to join us in the celebration around the world in our organization to do more, care more, and in our efforts to give more family caregivers and promote care and kindness in the community.
Oh, very nice, very nice. Well, we appreciate what you do, and what I'd like to do is we do have a proclamation here. If you'll permit me, I'll go ahead and read this, and then we'll have the commissioners vote on it, and we'll take a picture if that's okay with you. All right. This is a proclamation for the International Care and Kindness Week. Come on up, Commissioner, if you want. I'm reading the proclamation. If you want to go ahead and be seated, they'll get us some.
Oh, I got the tape.
Yeah. All right. It reads, whereas Pilot International was founded in Macon, Georgia in 1921, whereas this nonprofit community service organization's mission is to serve Pilot International's humanitarian efforts through charitable, educational, and research programs in communities throughout the world. Whereas Pilot's motto is to do more, care more, and be more, and strive to serve communities by reaching out to those in need. And whereas at its core, Pilot International is an organization that cares. This special week brings awareness to how simple acts can change a day, a life, or the community by simply showing the world, by showing someone you care, or thanking people in your life for their care and kindness. And whereas Pilot International has been true to its mission to serve communities throughout the world for nearly 95 years, and has served Madison County, Georgia since September of 1983. Now therefore, the Board of Commissioners of Madison County, on behalf of the citizens of Madison County, does hereby proclaim the week of November 4th through the 10th, 2018, to be International Care and Kindness Week in Madison County, and encourage those who wish to serve their community to seek opportunities to join Pilot International in fellowship and service. So resolved by the Madison County Board of Commissioners on the 29th day of October, 2018. And with that, I'll ask the commissioners of the board for a vote to approve the item as read. So moved.
Second.
Okay. I have a motion and a second, and if there are no comments, or I'll offer a chance if anybody would like to make a comment on that, but failing that, the vote would go to Commissioner Strickland.
Yes.
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 Yes. Very good. All right. And with that, I have a couple of copies if you'd like. And you'll have to tell me who you choose to be in your photo.
The chairman. The chairman.
I think this is nice.
How many members are in Madison County?
Really, we're close to 40.
Yeah, that's great, because I just didn't realize how many y'all were in there. That's great. You're everywhere.
You want the whole board?
Sure.
See, I think y'all are making good.
Sure, that's great.
Do you want to sit up a little bit, or?
Yeah.
Okay. And I think, even though there are two.
Oh, okay, great.
How
about Tyler right here, the commissioner's behind? He's doing the picture.
Y'all just piled up front, the commissioners.
Okay, well, there you go.
Okay.
That's even better.
Okay, and I was getting.
There we go.
Thank you. y'all do a lot. You're in the
That's what we made. You got that. You did.
Already?
Good.
Don't move. I couldn't get all of you in it, there you go.
You got it on both hands.
I figured you did.
Now, Spec.
But I saw you reading along, I did.
All right, always nice to be able to recognize something like this. So, thank you, ladies.
Thank you.
It's unofficial and simple. All right, moving on, Chairman, before we got just a couple items on this that I'd like to, I think it's advertised in the local newspaper and on our website, but I'd like to call everybody's attention to an event on November 10th from, I believe it's 10 till noon. Let me double check. It is from 10 till noon. It's usually conducted right out here in front of this building. We have, it's a recycling, it's Recycle, let's see, America Recycles Day. And what we do is we contract with a company, and they bring a large truck out, and while you stand, many people are a little hesitant to have a lot of their personal documents shredded by somebody else, but what they do is they bring a truck out, and it actually has a video camera in it that you're able to observe. And I don't care if it's a huge cardboard box, this thing's gonna shred it within a matter of seconds, so, but it allows you to observe that on the spot. It's also an opportunity for folks to bring in used or old medications, syringes, things like of that nature, and any clothes, batteries. Again, just take a look at the article either in the newspaper or on our webpage, and it goes into a number of things that they're looking to collect or take, for whatever issue, recycling, and things like that. So that's the 10th. If you keep that in mind, it's actually a really good deal, no cost to anybody. Well, no cost to you as a citizen coming up here. I think you've already paid for it in advance, but it is nonetheless, it's a very, very good opportunity to kind of do a little housekeeping. We also met, oh my goodness, I believe it was one day last week. We had a group of the cities within our county, some county members, had DOT, we had several surrounding counties that had representatives that joined us for a discussion about the bridge construction on the bridge just south of Danielsville here. So I encourage anybody, if you've got any ideas, any concerns or whatever, the city of Danielsville, Mayor Higdon and Susan Payne, Clerk Susan Payne, they kind of took this up, but the bridge officially lies outside of city limits, but it does impact the city of Danielsville and impact other areas as well. But I encourage you, if you've got ideas or concerns, you're welcome to approach me, you're welcome to approach them and share with them your concern and ideas about that. That's a year-long project that'll shut that bridge down. So for those of you that use Highway 29 on a regular basis, that might be of interest to you. Certainly will be of interest if there's a fire truck or an ambulance trying to make or law enforcement trying to make their way to your home. So we're looking for alternatives to just completely shutting that down. All right, and one last item. Last week, I believe it was last week at the beginning, there was the first regional broadband roundtable. We all got together in several counties, approximately eight or nine counties were represented in this North Georgia area, Northeast Georgia area, to start looking in earnest at an option to provide rural broadband. And we're looking, our next meeting, I believe, will take place in Newton County But, we're looking at every opportunity, every idea, trying to, kind of pair the cost with what people are willing to pay and their level of need. So it is actually a very good event. We're seeing a lot more interest now because you got smaller companies that are wanting the business of these more rural counties. So some of your larger providers are starting to get in the mix a little bit too. So more to follow on that. All right. Tonight we have, effectively, we have two items on our agenda, items 5 and 6, and at this time, if there's anybody that would like to make a statement or remark, we'll hold discussion from the commissioners till we get to those two items for the most part, but certainly if anybody would like to make a comment or a statement on items number 5 and 6, at this time, we'll open the floor, and we'll ask that we keep it at a reasonable time frame, though, but you're more than welcome if anybody would like to speak at this time. All right. With that, we'll start into the business portion of our meeting. We have one item of old business, old because we brought it up at our last meeting, and chose to postpone a vote on it to allow for a little bit more discussion, a little bit more investigation on it. The move, or the item that we'll consider tonight is moving the 911 Communications Center, the office there it is currently under the BOC, moving that under the Sheriff's Office. And with that, I'll open up the floor for a motion and some discussion at your leisure.
Motion not to do it.
I have a motion to deny or to remain status quo. Okay, I have a motion.
Second.
I have a second. Any discussion on that item? Any comments or discussion?
Is there any reason why you guys don't, or just get into discussion, or I was just curious what you know, any opinion? If you don't want to tell me, I guess you don't have to, but I was just curious.
Been through this before.
Right.
Any other comments or discussion on that? So the motion is to deny moving it, and a second to deny. The vote then goes to Commissioner Bettis. The motion is to deny.
No.
So a yes vote is to deny, correct?
Yes.
Yes. No.
Okay, that motion fails, vote is 3-2 to deny, motion to deny, or to remain status quo. The business item still remains to consider moving the 911 office. If there's a motion that anybody would like to make to move it under the sheriff's office.
Motion to approve.
Have a motion to approve.
Second.
And a second to approve. Discussion, or comments on that motion?
We have a new sheriff, doing a really good job. My relationship with Brendan is good. I'm excited about having somebody that can write grants for not only the Sheriff's Department 911, but the fire department for the county. I know he's willing to do that kind of stuff. If this doesn't work out, as they've done in the past, we can always go back the other way. But got to be a way to build some trust here. I trust the decision of our sheriff and Mr. David Camp. Haven't really heard any reasons to sway me the other way, so that's where I stand on it.
And I apologize, I should have mentioned, I should have recognized that David Camp is here tonight for any of the commissioners that would like to ask her or any position position or clarification on that as well. Any other discussion or comments? The motion and second are to approve moving 911 communication center under the sheriff's office. And with that, the vote goes to Commissioner Pepperell.
No.
No.
Yes.
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 Okay. All right, the item under new business that we have before us, and this is a discussion item only, we received a reminder from the state letting us know that December, at the end of December, is our deadline to submit 2019 LMIG projects. I've been out with Alan running these roads. He's got some listed. Each of you should have a copy in front of you. As was the case last year, we have with our matching funds approximately $1 million for maintenance through the local maintenance improvement grant plus matching funds. We have currently, you'll see that this list here is from what commissioners have provided me, and this is what Alan has also observed while out. So what I would ask is there not necessarily a vote on this evening, but what I'd ask is that to take a look, and if you know of any that you want to have considered before we meet, this will be on the agenda next week, so that we might submit the projects. We have the latitude to you know, as need dictates to stray from this list if once it's submitted, as long as we're working toward improving, if it's an emergency situation like Chief Police, that money could easily be included as our matching funds for the 2019 period runs from 1 July through June 30th of next year. So those funds can be included in that. So this is just a start. It's a summation of what I've received up to this point, and just looking at that, I'd say, and folks, for you that may not have this, we've got approximately 7 roads that are being considered. Brickyard Road, we have Joe Graham Road, Piedmont Road, McGinnis Chandler, Mize, and then we have Crawford W. Long Street up to the city limits. We also have one road that's actually split. It's the longest of any of these roads, New Haven Church Road, that is split by Macedonia Church Road, approximately 3 miles on one side, 2 miles on the other. So those are the roads that have been submitted and have been determined to be in probably the greatest need. But and I welcome the opportunity or the input from anybody. If you have a road that you're aware of and you don't feel it's received the attention it needs, please get with the commissioner and let them know about it, and perhaps they'll submit that one as well.
Do you have any kind of estimates yet on any of this, you know, based on what we just paid?
What we paid last year was approximately, the resurfacing was approximately $100,000. It's still pretty close to $100,000 per mile. That's resurfacing. We did not pave any dirt roads last year, so that figure's not available. Prior to that, I believe it to have been somewhere between $400,000 and $500,000 per mile. But again, this is just a list. I wanted you to be able to take a look at it, and please let Alan know if you've got any others that you want him to look at too, and we'll certainly do that.
I'd like you to take a look at the pay portion of Duffel Martin, if you would, just several potholes in it.
Okay, the paid portion.
Paid portion of Duffin Martin.
I got it. Okay, well, I'll put that under a road update. I'll pass that on to them, we'll take a look at that. And it goes for anybody, we'll hit those here in just a second, but if there's any other discussion on that, let me know, otherwise we'll wait till next week and we'll take the list as we have it presented to you and we'll make a decision on what to pursue on that, okay? Any other discussion or comments on the new project?
Roughly 11 miles, is that right? Okay.
Yeah, 11.25.
Yep.
Tell the teacher on this board.
All right, well, very good. And we will move to item 7, which is the village update. Anybody has, and we'll certainly get Duffin Martin looked at for potholes.
Chairman, I'm looking for a speed limit sign for Martin Griffith Road. Actually, I had to call 911, guy the other day going about 80 down through there. I've had several people call, got some blind spots on their road. I've talked to the sheriff about it already.
Is it just the addition of one?
Correct.
Okay, so it's not changing it?
No, I'm not trying to change it.
Okay.
Not going there.
Okay, all right. I believe we had a call today concerned about Wagner's Group. That was the other that we'll take a look at.
Yep, still getting calls on that Timber Ridge Road.
Timber Ridge would easily be on that list right there. Is that Timber Ridge, Timber Lane?
Timber Line, Timber Ridge.
Timber Lane.
North side of the county.
Timber Lane is a narrow, tar and gravel road is what it is. And, it is definitely, probably worth looking at.
Did you ever come up with anything on Lakeview?
Well, we went and repaired that one spot because it was a safety issue for the school system. It is not, we were unable to find any document, any deed, anything, anywhere that suggested that was ever a county. All right, yeah. So, the gentleman that had the concern, the school quit going down that road because of a 90-degree turn and it had a really, really bad wash problem. Put the bus, the center of gravity was the real issue there, and it was the, top heavy and that. So,
Did they get the bus weight and go back on that?
It did. It did. Let's see, is there any other ones? I'll make mention of this now. Next week, you'll see on our agenda as far as a business item is a there will be an item to formally adopt Stapler Road. That was one of the 5 roads that was taken under consideration by the board. It appears that all adjacent properties to Stapler have a 50-foot right-of-way on that, so that one can be voted immediately. All right, any other update for road?
Yes, sir.
All right, urgent matters. Urgent matters, none. All right, folks, have an opportunity for statements and remarks from citizens on any item. Doesn't matter if it's on the agenda or if it's just on your heart. Oh, there we go. So, if there's anybody that'd like to make a statement or remark, now's your opportunity.
I would.
Okay.
May not be a statement, I think it's about 5 or 6 pages long, and I understand y'all like to get out of here, but this is important to me, and I heard the other day, if you feel strongly about something, you stand for it, even if you have to stand alone. So,
and before you get started, Ms. Lester, can you give me your name? I know your name, I don't know if they do.
I was about to introduce myself. Good evening, Mr. Chairman, and members of the Board of Madison County, thank you for allowing me to speak. My name is Sylvia Lowe, and I reside at 11449 Wildcat Bridge Road. I am not here to bash or trash anyone. I'm here not, as you have heard, that our neighbors has questions and concerns in reference to the personal care home coming to our area. And I want to give you a little background on me as a spokesperson. I have a little experience in mental health. I worked in the medical field for almost 40 years. And since my retirement, and while I was working in the medical field, I held children with helmets on their head while the doctor took peas and beans and popcorn from their ears and nose. And then, since I've retired, I've been a caregiver to some very special needs. One that had tube feeding and diaper changes every 2 hours. I've dealt with Alzheimer's patients and dementia patients, and I now am caring for a 91-year-old patient with dementia at a facility where that's what it includes, a lot of dementia patients. I sit at the table with a 101-year-old, and I assist her in cutting her meat or whatever is necessary. So I have some experience with mental health, and it comes in all shapes and sizes, as we know, from alcoholism to drug addicts and this type thing. So we have heard that this is not a personal care home. And then we have heard that it is a government project. And I don't know if it's a 501c or whatever, but my issue is, who is the government? And we have heard that it's licensed in the state of Georgia. Online, it is licensed as a personal care home. And at the Secretary of State's office, we were told that another site had been considered. For some reason, that was not feasible. And we have safety issues that we're concerned about in that area. Heavy traffic on Wildcat Bridge Road. Tree farm very close. 2 large lakes in the near proximity. Hunting area. You are correct in granting permits, as the state guideline says that you have to, where there's no zoning, to permit these homes. So, and Madison County does not have those zoning for that. Our concern is the way that it was handled. It did not go before the Planning and Zoning Committee, and it did not come before the board. So we feel that it should have been vetted better because of the impact that it will have on the county. We feel that the resources will be stretched for the fire department, for the sheriff's department, and for the school. If they're 18 years old and have special needs, they can stay in our schools for until they're 21. And so, after hours of research, I was distressed of how these homes came into existence. In 1842, the Milledgeville State Mental Hospital was established, and it was closed in 2010 because of questionable treatment by the residents. So Georgia started these homes as an alternative to the state mental hospital. And it has not served the state well, according to their statistics. Here are some of the problems that I have read about. A man who had lived in a median income neighborhood for 10 years. So the neighbor sold his home to a man. He opened this home, one of these homes. They had ankle bracelets when the residents would come in and out. Of course, it interrupted his sleep for the noise and his way of life. So, and then one lady who wished to remain anonymous said that the house next door opened a halfway house. And these are all comes under personal care and this type of thing. And since there's no zoning or ordinances about this, that can open anywhere according to the state guidelines. So it could be your neighbor. So residents would congregate in the street, and she couldn't get by. And she said, for fear that she would be retaliated against, she wished her name not to be given out. In our state, the EMT, police, and firemen are called to locate. In another state, the EMT, police, fire department had been called to a location 134 times in 4 years. And they were appalled the last time they went, which was the fire department. They went into the home and the back door had a chair underneath it, the knob, and the chair legs were screwed to the floor. One way in and one way out. I am not saying that these homes will be any problems, but our concern is who will be the oversight. Will it be the county? Will it be the state? And I say, if it is the state, why did the state mental hospital close? And in the Georgia rules and codes, they do not get preferential treatment. And we as citizens of Madison County and tax-paying residents, we want to know if we'll be protected from noise and nuisance, trespassing, etc. The same as you will these residents. One site said that they encountered a tremendous amount of traffic. I checked other counties and they have zoning to protect neighborhoods. Oconee has implemented that. Zoning for these homes. There are consulting firms online, and I understood that this has become a get-rich-quick scheme. Some of these homes do not pay tax on the revenue they collect for each individual, and that can range from $1,500 to $3,300 per month per individual. And the consulting firms sell you a kit for $500, and then so when they sell that, I read the testimonials from the people that opened these homes about how much money they had made and what all they had gotten to do since they opened these homes. And when they did that, they said never one mention any rehabilitation of one resident. Not to learn to plant a garden, not to learn to sew, not to learn to sing, not to learn music, not to do landscaping. So that became a real personal thing to me. What are we doing for these people? So in closing, my point is, Our zoning was put in, as I understand it, in 2007. The mental hospital closed in 2010. So our zoning is outdated, and we need to look to the future as it may be coming to your neighborhood with the opioid and alcohol epidemic we have. We have a strong government, but I am sickened by the VA. So in closing, our county stands to be a bedroom community. Let's make it a 5-star hotel, a bedrock community. I am sympathetic to these residents, but by the grace of God, I go there. I will be a force for them to be treated with all respect and dignity they deserve. Love thy neighbor. Thanks for your time and attention.
Well, thank you for eloquently delivered. I'll offer one comment. Even though we're not in the habit of addressing statements and remarks, I do know from having attended recently the legislative session down at Jekyll Island. They have the annual thing, that's where it's held this year, but one of their top items that they're addressing, which is going to be presented, I believe, in the next Georgia legislative session, is the entire notion of mental health and mental illness as it pertains to, and they quoted the same thing, many of the same items you quoted as far as millage bill, and I believe is a 13,000 bed, if I remember right, facility at one time, and there are none now. So they're aware of that issue, and again, food for thought. You know, it may be something that we look at here as far as our planning and zoning. It did not come up before the Planning and Zoning Board because you're correct. There was no requirement as it stands right now for it too. So it wasn't an omission. It was just, it wasn't a requirement, and perhaps that might very well be worth looking at. Is there anybody else that would like to make a statement? Anybody else? Well, on that note, do you have anything we need to talk about? Or?
Yes, sir.
All I need is a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
I have a motion. And a second. Commissioner Eastco.
Yes.
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 All right, we're adjourned.